Okay, so we've got kind of a recruiting question topic that I thought I'd cover before I do the PLL goalies looking silly tonight. Um, but the topic here that I wanted to kind of just cover was I was communicating this week with a goalie dad, also with a very talented lacrosse goalie. This goalie is going to be a Division 1 uh, a Division 1 standout. Once they get there. um, if they if it doesn't get ruined. Um, but the conversation came up around like, okay, there's like 6 schools like that we're looking at, and this one school, the money that they had promised our athlete, they decided to give it to another athlete, like a returning 5th year COVID player. And then this other school, like is coming with good money, but it's not as strong as this other school. And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 wait a second." So this violates kind of my number one rule about recruiting, which is if your goalie is in a position where they could go anywhere, you are susceptible to having a really bad college experience with your goalie. Okay. So I've said this for years. I will continue to say it. I don't think anything in my life is going to change my approach to this, but your goalie needs to decide where they would like to go to school, the environment that they would like to be around. Big school, small school, city school, rural school, right? Do they have the degree that they would like? Now, I know this is hard. This is a tough question now, guys, because it wasn't like when my generation was going to school and you could kind of come out of there with a degree for a decent amount of money and get a career and enjoy that. Now, like if your goalie doesn't know what they want to do in college, and they would just go anywhere to play lacrosse, I question those decisions, right? Because I've said this all the time. As much as we love lacrosse and as much as we want the best for our goalies, there's not really a pro outlet like where you're going to athletically return your investment for lacrosse, right? And when I hear about college kids that lacrosse players jump in schools to get playing time, I'm like, at college, I'm like, yo, guys, this is not like we're preparing for the NFL. Okay. It just blows my mind. Okay. And people don't seem to think much of it in lacrosse. But for this dad and this goalie, they're so close to kind of the end of the road to get into that college. I was kind of shocked that the scholarship money was a deciding factor, because we're talking here tiny increments in money, right? Like your goalie will blow more money on food and drink and maybe some alcohol in college than scholarship money will kind of will like it doesn't seem to me to be like the right question at the very end. If you're down to 5 or 6 schools, your goalie's down to 5 or 6 schools, you are looking for the best collegiate experience you can have, and then secondarily, the best coaching experience you can have. Okay. I didn't used to say that. I didn't used to put a lot of emphasis on like the coach, because one of the things that I believe in 100% is that your goalie, as an athlete, we have to take 100% responsibility for our experience. As parents, our our responsibility with our athletes is such that we have to help facilitate that. And I say that because your goalie, I'm sorry, guys, but dealing with college coaches is a lot like dealing with used car salesmen. Okay. I get it. There's some good guys out there, but they're selling you on their program, right? If they want you, they're going to sell you because they want you in the door. They need numbers. So if you get to that point and now there's like dollars in play, it's kind of like driving across town to save a couple bucks on filling up your tank, but you spent more money driving over there to save a couple bucks, right? You know, even when you go to like Costco and you get like the whatever up here in Canada is the 10-cent discount per liter, right? It's like 50 cents a gallon, that can add up, right? But seriously, if you're driving $5 worth of gas to save $5 worth of gas, it's like, really? But well, let's say you drive $5 worth, drive to save $5 worth of gas, but it costs you $2 to get there. So all in all, you saved $3. This is kind of what this discussion's about, right? It's like, okay, my goalie wants to go to this school, but they're not offering as much money as that school. Well, that's like an apples to orange comparison, right? Not all schools are the same. They're not cookie cutter. It's not like we're driving to Best Buy to get a TV and we're going to go over to that other Best Buy to get another TV. Or maybe we're going to go to, Walmart and they've got a TV that we think's the same, but it's labeled differently. You know what I mean? And then you're like, okay, wait a second. Maybe that's a better deal. No, it's not like that at all. It's like you could be talking about different states. You could be talking about schools with different majors. You could be talking about schools that, maybe your kid has friends there or they don't. You could be talking about schools where you get in-state tuition and you get out-of-state tuition or whatever. Like, one's near the water or away from the water, hot climate, cold climate, you name it. Like, there's just all sorts of stuff, right? Now, the school's going to sell you on like the locker room and the cleats they get every year and the food and the weight room, and your goalie's gonna be like, wow, this is amazing. And in the back of your head as the parent, you're going like, cha-ching, cha-ching. And I get it. If you what I think scares a lot of people is like they're just trying to save what little money they can here and there. But one thing I tell all my entrepreneurial parents, so you know, there's parents that listen to me that are employees and have jobs, and then there's parents who listen to me and they have their own business. I would say like if you're in sales and you can create revenue, you're in your own business. So my encouragement to those families that have entrepreneurial or those types of options is I would rather see you take this opportunity to put some hustle into like yourself, into your business, in order to grow that, and then have your son or daughter at a school that maybe costs an extra 5 grand a year. You know what I mean? Like it's like put some hustle in there and take that money question out of the equation, because at the end of the day, when you're going between five schools, 5 or 6 schools, it's not about the money, right? It's not about the money. It's totally about the fit. So, yep, broken leg test, very famous saying. What happens when you can't play? Broken leg test. Have to want to be at that school even if you can't play. Very true. Very very true. Adam Hetrick, thank you. Yeah, like I've been very open the last couple of years. Like I've had a couple goalies go to schools where um, what they thought was going to be a good lacrosse experience turned out to be hell. And, you know, I don't want that for your kid. I don't want that for any kid, you know? Um, so that's a big conversation. Food was on Joel's top 5 list. There you go. Yeah, I remember, like, it hasn't changed. Like when I came out of high school and I was thinking of college, it's like, okay, Syracuse had they had this like house that this building where it like had this database of tests and papers and quizzes that you could access. Um, and Cornell had amazing food because of the hospitality school that's there, and UMass Amherst had what did UMass Amherst have? Oranges when the Syracuse fans threw it on the field when they would play them. Anyway, Roanoke was in the middle of nowhere. Notre Dame was Notre Dame, and it was crazy because it was like selling you on the football program. And oh, by the way, you'll be playing lacrosse here. So I get it. But making that decision at the very end, going like, oh, geez, I think we'll say, this school is going to offer me like, $2,000 more or $5,000 more, or like, it's an apples to orange comparison. That's the best way I can say it. Okay. So don't let scholarship money sway you, because it's not, even if you're the top goalie in the country, right? If you're the top goalie in your age category, and I've said this before to goalies like that, if you're the top goalie in the country coming out and you're trying to, I don't even want you like selling yourself out like that. You got to make the better decision. Because lacrosse, as much as I love lacrosse, as much as I help kids get into school to play lacrosse, it's just, to me, it's not worth that risk. It's not worth that risk. It's not worth that investment, and I can't say that strongly enough. So if you ever want to talk to somebody about that, go ahead and reach out to me, Coach Edwards, lacrossegoalietips.com. I'm happy to to talk about that, if that's where you're at. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right, guys, thanks for watching and thanks for listening wherever you are. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you like this, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. When you're ready, head on over to lacrossegoalieuniversity.com/coaching so I can work with you and your goalie. And while you're at it, check out athletespecific.com to learn more about mental performance and high performance. You may not know this, but I work with athletes in a variety of sports. Lacrosse is my love, but man, I love athletes and the families who support them. So head on over to athletespecific.com, check it out. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.